So for this one, we're going to talk about grain milling. Now, this is one of those golf things as far as brewing goes, is that you don't absolutely have to crush your own grains, but it does provide you another layer of control as far as your brewing process goes. It's also another way to dial in your efficiency of your brewing. Now there is such a thing as going too fine or too coarse as far as the milling goes. So it's not something you want to jump into without having read up on it. Another thing that you can do, by the way, is that you can actually have ask the brew shop where you get your grains from to double mill your grains, and that can sometimes help with your efficiency as well. The efficiency deals with the system that you're working with, and so there's certainly something that you can adjust. Turns out that what I'm actually using here is what's called the barley crusher, and so we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, as far as where you might actually adjust this goes, let me just point this out for you real quick. Right here, there's a couple of screws that you can use to loosen up that adjustment knob, and then you can move that adjustment knob one way or the other. One way is a coarse grain, one way is a fine grain. Okay, and so let me back up here and just show you kind of how this works. It's real simple. I actually use a hand-powered one. Most people are going to use drills. Another thing to talk about as far as milling grains goes is some people like to condition the grains and actually mill them when they've increased the moisture content. That's not necessarily, if you get these grains kind of fresh, that's not necessarily something you can do, but again, it's another layer of control as far as the milling process goes. So after a little bit of work here, we have finally crushed all the grain, and you can kind of take a look at that there. This is actually a finer crush, and that has to do with the system, the Grainfather system that I'm working with. I've since long forgotten the exact settings, but I want to say that it's probably about 1.1 to 1.2 millimeters as far as the grain crush, which is actually a finer crush than what people might use on different systems. So again, this is one of those things where you're going to have to dial it in based on the system that you're working with.